Hi, I'm Camille, and this is Stories to Dine Out On. If you aren't familiar with that phrase, a story you dine out on is a story you tell in social situations, like when you're out to dinner with friends. It's a story you have probably told before. You've practiced it. It's personal. It means something to you and reveals something about who you are. So with me today is Diana Costa.
Hello.
And do you want to, first of all, just say a little bit about who you are?
Okay. I'm Diana Costa. I'm friends with Camille, our hostess this morning. And we have been friends for over 20 years. We recently produced a show called the Lola LaRue Variety Show. And we just love getting together and being creative. And she had this idea. And I'm like, I'm your first guest.
And you are not only a writer and producer on the Lola LaRue Show, you are an actress.
Yes, I am. I am Lola and several other characters on the show. So, yep, I've done commercials and theater, and I'm retired and working on my show and doing creative stuff. So I was tired of being in an office and just thinking about it, and now we're actually doing it.
We're at a dinner party, and it's time for your story. You might have more than one story, which is fine.
I think I just got one long story.
Okay.
And it's funny because Frank and I often,
Frank is her husband.
Frank's my husband. And we'll often be at a dinner party or, in a situation. And our close friends have a lot of adventures. And we never really had an adventure story. I have a best friend who's climbed Kilimanjaro, jumped out of planes. My other best friend, she goes on month-long hiking trips by herself. And so they always have these stories. And we just kind of sit there and we wish we had a story. Well, after the night of our 11th anniversary, we had a story. We have a story. And we've been married 27 years, so if my memory, I might not remember fine details, but, well, I think I will. Okay, so it's our 11th anniversary, and Camille and I happened to be together that day. We went to see a play.
Pippin.
I couldn't remember. I didn't know if it was Dreamcoat or... Okay, so Pippin. It was a long play. We left at intermission because... Do you remember?
Yes. We didn't have a choice to leave at intermission because you had double booked yourself. Because I didn't even know when we went to the play that it was your anniversary.
I didn't know when we went to the play it would be a 6-hour production of Pippin. I thought, yeah, they're usually 2.5. I don't know. They weren't very far when it came to intermission. But anyway, yes, I probably told you I have to go because we're going to go on a romantic Sunset Ranch in Hollywood horseback adventure. And it was private. It was just the two of us and a guide. So,
and you have horseback riding experience prior to this, or?
I love to go horseback walking.
Okay.
I like to walk on a horse.
The horses that are used to people like in parks or Griffith Park or something, that they are used to inexperienced riders. That's the level of horse
and we were. That's where we were, like Griffith Park and Sunset Ranch over the Hollywood Hill there. But yeah, when I was little, my grandparents used to take me on pony rides, where the ponies, God, who would want to do this to a pony now, are chained to a pole and walk around in a circle. Yes. And then if you're on a vacation and you're at the beach, they have the horses that walk on the beach. They walk 3 miles, they walk back. That kind of thing.
So the horses know where they're going.
And they know how to get back.
Yeah.
And it's not that these horses didn't, okay? Okay. So 11th anniversary, we get to Sunset Ranch. And even though we're taking a private ride, there's other people there who are doing, a huge group. And there's a lot of people there. And so everybody will get going. But it's like Disneyland. You're in all these aisles and you're waiting to get your horse and you're waiting to go on.
Okay.
And the first thing you have to do is pick a helmet. And Frank and I were like, wow, you have to pick a helmet. I didn't know it was so violent.
Yeah, because
You just don't.
I've gone horseback riding before, and I don't recall even wearing a helmet. I don't know if that's it could be a California thing.
I don't know if it's a
just
law.
like
I don't know.
that you have to.
But there's all these helmets, and they weren't in the best condition. But we put them on, and then the group ahead of us went. Then we were next up. There's our guide, the two of us. We're about 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, maybe, we're going to be on our way. And our guide's name is Victoria. And even though I just like a walking horse, I didn't want a lazy horse. And so I got Phoenix. And Frank, he's a little bit more experienced, but he got a huge, huge horse. I don't recall its name. It just was as big as an elephant.
Well, and Frank, he's tall.
He's tall. He's manly.
So they wouldn't put him on a tiny horse anyway.
No. And Phoenix was, I don't know if he was a teenager, And so in our helmets with Victoria, following Victoria, off we go. Through the Griffith Park sunset over, it's sunset. It's beautiful. And you get all the way to the top and you just overlook the city. By that time it's getting dark and then you go down into Burbank area by the Equestrian Center, and you have a Mexican restaurant there, and you have dinner. And Victoria waits, and you have your nice dinner, and the horses wait, and then you get back on the horses, and you go home. You go the same way you came.
They know how to get back to their stables.
Yes. They know
you
quite
go back to
well.
where you got on the horses.
Yes. We go back to the Sunset Ranch. So now it's dark and we're done eating and we get back on our horses. And I could tell immediately that Phoenix was really, really antsy. He was uptight about something. I don't know if we took too long. He didn't get his hay. I don't know what was wrong with him, but immediately I knew something was up. I couldn't control him. Frank's okay. Victoria's okay. So I tell her, and we go a little bit longer. I'm like, Victoria, he's just acting up. She goes,
no, and you would hope that he's also sort of trained. He knows to follow the other horses that he's with. You would assume.
One other horse. Two other horses, yes.
Two other horses.
Two other horses. Yeah. But he's just, and he is, but it's like, you sense something. That's my spidey senses knew something was up. So she goes, okay, I'm going to hop off my horse and I'm going to walk him. So we walked for a little bit. He knew that, maybe he couldn't mess around. She gets back on her horse and it's getting dark. It's dark. And the wind is coming up. It's windy. And we make it back to the top of Hollywood. The mountain. Okay. And the wind is just ripping. You can't see very well. There's just the moonlight. And then you see the lights in the distance. But where you're at is pretty darn dark except for the moonlight.
Yeah, because it's just mountains and trails. It's not a residential area.
No. Trees, hills, black. It's like something like I expected, Ichabod Crane to come running through any moment. It's like the wind is ripping and everything. So we get up there and I'm like, Victoria, it's not, I'm exhausted. She goes, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm putting Frank on your horse because he's bigger, he's heavier, and he's going to calm Phoenix down. Frank's horse isn't giving him any trouble, so I'm going to put you on Frank's horse, the elephant horse.
And for those people listening, you're on the tiny side of people.
Of life, yes.
Yes.
I am, yes. So, my legs, she really had to adjust those stirrups. We're going to back up a little bit.
Okay.
We get up to the hill, and she goes, get in this order. Frank, you're ahead of me to the left. Diana, you're ahead of me to the right. And my horse, Victoria, and her horse are at the point behind us.
Behind
like
you.
A V.
Okay.
Like a V. Yeah. So all the horses are stopped. We get off our horses. Everything's good. She puts me on
Frank's horse. Is that not what happened?
Okay, hold on. Okay. Yes. That's what
Are we going to back up a little more?
Okay. She's going to put Frank on Phoenix. She's going to put me on his horse.
Who we'll call Elephant. We don't know its name, but we'll just call him Elephant.
Okay, we're going to call him Elephant.
You're doing a...
Yes, I need
horse
to reverse.
swap.
Yes, we're doing a horse swap, and I need to reverse that. Phoenix is on the left. Elephant is on the right. And Victoria's horse is at the V, the point of the V. Behind. Okay. And we're all on our horses now. She says, okay, get off of your horses. What did I just say? Where were we at?
Is it important who's
Yes,
on the left
it's
and who's
so
on the right?
important.
Okay. I think you said Phoenix was on the left and Elephant was on the right.
Yep. I'm crying. I tell this story a lot. I don't know why. Okay. See, when you find out what happened, you'll know why
It matters.
it matters. Okay. All right. So we get off our horses, and she puts me on the elephant. She gets me all situated. The minute Frank attempts to get on Phoenix, feisty Phoenix, bumps him off, and Frank is rolling down a hill. And the only reason I can see this is because the helmet is white, and it's catching the moonlight as he rolls. So the horse is like, I'm free now. And off he goes. My horse wants to follow him.
Elephant now.
Elephant, my feet barely make it around his girth, whatever you call a horse's
Haunches or whatever.
Yeah, it's in head of the haunches. You just, where you put your foot in the stirrups.
Yeah.
It's almost parallel. It's parallel. This horse is so huge. I'm 5 feet tall. Okay, yeah. So I have short legs.
You're like in the splits.
I'm in
on
like
a
in the
horse.
splits. Thank you. Okay, so my horse wants to go. Now, thank God, Victoria gave us some safety pointers as we were walking. She's like I said, just, how do I stop him? And I mean, pull back the reins. What if he doesn't want to stop? And she said, if you ever, you're not going to have that problem. But if you ever have that problem, just take the rein and go to the right and keep going in a circle. I'm like, I'll put that in my back jean pocket.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to have to know that information again. So my horse wants to take off. And I'm panicked. And I knew just from knowing stuff, don't ever get off the horse. Stay on the horse. You don't want to jump off the horse. That's where your foot gets caught in the stirrup. Stay on the horse.
And if this horse is that big, it would be probably difficult to dismount anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my horse wants to follow Phoenix and go back to the barn. And so I'm like, I don't know what else to do, but I took the rein and I took it to the right. So as we were circling back and I'm screaming, Victoria, her horse wanted to go too. She's not on it yet. When she attempted to get on it, and I'm just seeing this out of the corner of my eye, it threw her off. And she landed flat on her face on the dirt, and she's passed out. I'm like, Victoria, I'm screaming, Victoria. Well, off her horse goes, and I'm screaming because I'm trying to keep my horse from following those two other horses. So finally she comes to. Frank's made it back up the hill. And I'm screaming. And so she jumps and she goes, don't get off that horse. I got you. I got you. And she reaches in and she grabs the reins, calms him down and holds him until Frank can help me get down off the horse. We are shaking. However, at this moment, I did tell Frank, that was a really good roll. Because I saw how it just came out of nowhere. He's a black belt in judo, or he was. He doesn't keep up with it, and I wish he would. But he just knew how to roll.
You were like, your stunt training.
Yeah, exactly.
Kicked in.
It did. He just knew how to roll, and he just didn't roll randomly, crash and burn. He rolled down the hill. So we're like shaking. We are so stressed right now. And she's stressed too because she just got up from being passed out and kicked off her horse. And I can't tell you the atmosphere, just black. The wind is ripping and the moon, it's just horror. So we gather ourselves and we decide we're just, we have no choice but to walk back. So 3 people and 1 horse, elephant, are being walked back. What's on our mind a lot is the people ahead of us. There's a group ahead of us.
And 2 riderless
with no
horses.
warning coming on a trail that 2 horses are booking it for home.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like...
And hopefully their horses weren't like, oh, we're running
exactly.
now.
Because how can you control what's coming and you don't know it? I don't know how the guides work, if there's a guide in front and a guide in the back. But if there's just a guide in the front and you have 8 probably people in a group, it just chaos is going to ensue. And everyone's safety. I mean, we were worried about everybody.
She didn't have like a walkie-talkie or anything where she could communicate
there
to
was
home base.
No communication to home base. But home base found out when obviously this group came back, but probably before the group, the 2 horses came back. And they're like, holy freaking poo-poo. We have 2 riderless horses, so what's happened up there? So they send their people out on horses, 2. And after we have walked, because it's a long distance, it's a long ride.
Yeah, it's different when you're on a horse, or like if you're in a car, you might go 10 miles, whereas if you're on foot, you might go 2 miles. So to have to just know that you might have only been, still had 7 miles to go or something.
Yeah, we had a long way to go. And so eventually, this guy comes riding up on his horse. He's like, everybody okay? No. And then another guy, and he goes, all right, get on the horse. And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm not going to get on a horse. He goes, you got a lot of miles to go, lady. A lot of miles to walk still. Let's just get you back on the horse. This is the one I probably wanted in the beginning. This is our guy who's very mellow. I'll be here with you. You got to get back on the horse. So Frank and I got back on these very gentle horses, and they walked us back. And the look on the guy's face that probably runs Sunset Ranch was like, I mean, he couldn't apologize more, but he was pissed that this happened.
Yeah.
The safety and the whole thing. So Victoria was very apologetic. We were just traumatized. We're just traumatized. The following Sunday, the next day, Sunday, I mean, literally, we couldn't do anything. We just sat in our trauma. It was just so bad. But one of the really interesting things, I don't know if I've told you this, Camille. We were walking back to the car. The place is just quiet because if there was anybody, there couldn't have been anybody waiting to get on a horse because they wouldn't go out that late.
Yeah.
So it was just
they wait for all the horses to come back and they probably close down for the night.
exactly. So it's just done, and we're quietly walking back to our car. And I feel like something. I feel like somebody behind us, and he's looking back at me, and I see, like, in her 30s, probably a lady, dark hair, long hair, over her shoulders, long dark hair. She's wearing a dress. It's kind of like flowy, and I turn back and I'm just thinking to myself, why would anybody where'd she come from? A, and B, why would anybody wear a flowy dress, to a horse ranch? And I'm like, that's just weird. And I turned around again. She was gone. She was gone. I think it was a ghost of someone who had an experience like mine telling me never get on a horse again. Or she's telling me I rode Phoenix or I rode that is our dinner story. But I usually, at least in the beginning, I tell it a little bit better. The horror part, the traumatic part, I have down pat. But sometimes if I don't get those horses in the right V order, the whole story can go to.
Is the right order because you think people know which side of the mountain is down and which side is up?
Oh, maybe, yes, yeah. I want it to be
okay. Because I don't think it matters.
Okay, good. So yes, so this is the story that Frank and I tell, and we interject with each other. But
were you worried you'd run into some mountain lions or other critters, or you were so focused on the horse trauma that it didn't occur to you that mountain lions live
Not
and coyotes
one bit.
live here in the
they could have scared a horse too, you know, but no, we didn't think about that. It was just like, oh, it's our 11th anniversary as we headed out. Oh, it's so nice. Dinner was great. And then, just
an anniversary you'll never forget.
Never.
And you've been married now for
27 years.
Okay.
And he's never taken me on another
horseback ride.
Right. Or
even when you've gone to Hawaii, you haven't gone on horseback rides there or anything.
No. I've never gotten on a horse since. Except, I had to get back on the horse just because I wanted to go home and live in my trauma. But I'm not an adventure seeker, Some people would have said, heck yeah, I'm going to ride that horse home. Like, you'd be flying. And we went under like a tunnel, with, like a little bit of water in it. I would have been ripping through that tunnel. I would have just been flying, screaming, flying. Like, I can't even imagine what would have happened to me if I could have held on. If, I would have been just flying, and then all of a sudden I'd be seeing like 8 horses with people on them. I wouldn't know what to do. It would have just
scream.
I would have just been screaming. Just get out of my way. I think about that. I'm like, I can't believe that I didn't, I didn't break my neck or any part of my body I didn't break. Oh God, it's interesting to relive it. And thank God there's wine at the dinner party to calm me down after I tell it.
Well, thank you for sharing your story you dine out on.
That's the story I dine out on. Or
thanks for listening this far.
Yeah, or get in touch with Camille if you have a story.
Yeah, if you have a story that you love to share with people, let me know. Otherwise, I hope to make another episode soon.